Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again with one last update on the Penance and Arcanist brand build. It's just a bit of an update about the bug that is the Arcanist brand interaction, as well as my endgame boss kills. It's the first character in quite some leagues, maybe the past 3 or 4 leagues, that I've actually taken through to endgame. So I played him up to level 93. It was 2 full play days, played time days, like 48 hours. And I did end up killing Cirrus 5, 5th level Awakened or whatever. Did a fair bit of delve, did a mastermind with Betrayal, did all the content I could. Because it was a pretty enjoyable playstyle once I had the entire build sorted out with the Penance brand. And of course the Arcanist brand bug was making a single target quite a bit more enjoyable. Turns out it is completely confirmed, it's a bug. The way Wave of Conviction with Arcanist brand is working. So when you attach Arcanist brand and Wave of Conviction to an enemy and the Wave of Conviction goes off, it typically hits something like 5 times more, like all at once as a big shotgunning effect, than it's intended to do. That only really seems to happen if the enemy is completely standing still. You may have noticed that if you're playing this from time to time. Some of the thicker enemies, when they're actually running around, aren't taking huge amounts of damage. But if they stand still, they just chunk. And it has made my single target quite a bit easier. I think once a fix comes in, Arcanist brand with Wave of Conviction will still be a viable single target, but in lieu of this potential fix, I don't know when it's coming, they've just acknowledged that, yep, there's a, that's a bug, should be fixed. So it might happen at some point soon, or, a little bit later, but in lieu of that, I did start doing Penance brand as pure single target for all of the bosses from then onwards. So I've got a couple of examples of some bosses with Arcanist brand and a couple of bosses with Penance brand as an example. The Penance brand is still only on a 5 link, but I did end up setting up a separate Penance brand for my single target. So I had one on the 4 link with gloves for the 5th link, and then a separate 5th link with a more single target oriented setup. Something like Conk Effect, LE Focus, things like that. In the end, I just ditched the entire glove setup and just ran Penance brand for both setups. So it was just Penance brand in the chest 5 link and swapping in Conk Effect over the top of crit strikes. So it was just a 5 link for Penance brand, didn't have faster casting, and when you needed single target, you could do it with the current setup, or you could swap in Conk Effect to get just a little bit more damage. That did free up an entire 4 link slot in our build, so you could have attached maybe a cast on damage taken, a shield charge with Fortify. That's an example of the Wave of Conviction, still dicking bosses at like tier 14, Conquerors and all that, and Betrayal, Mastermind, all that junk. So what was I saying? Yeah. So it was still just Penance brand for the 5 link, and then ultimately if you get a 6th link, it's pretty good too. You don't need a separate clear, you don't need a separate single target. It's both one and the same. I do think that potentially having a separate single target in the form of an Arcanist brand something might be better, but Penance brand held up well enough, and it's just kind of weird to try and figure out what's going to be your best Penance brand setup or how it's going to work, because you kind of have to balance your activation frequency, your crit, your damage, your explosions, whatever, to get the right feel. And in the end, I think I was using Swift brand even on the single target setup, but it forced you to just like spam your Penance brand over and over again. So I'm not sure that's what you really want to do as a brand playstyle. You probably do just want to set Arcanist brand with Wave of Conviction even after the bug gets fixed and run around in circles against the enemy. But these are examples of the Penance brand single target, and I will leave you with the Cirrus 5 kill of the build, where I do test Arcanist brand, I test Penance brand, I test it with Swift brand without, I think. So I do a little bit of extensive testing during this kill, but as well as that, you get to see the build in action against my current hardest piece of content. So I hope you guys enjoyed the build and the videos with the build associated. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Just a little bit of cheating.
Having a microdose over here. No big deal. Everyone's doing it. I mean, look, it feels pretty good. What if I just kept doing it? No one would mind, would they? Didn't even press a flask. That was cool. Fine. Play my shit build instead. What if we don't use Swift Brand? Let's test it. Wait. Let's test it. Wait. I don't have skill. Where is it? See? Just build a fucking house on top of me? Okay. Now we do one test with Swift Brand. And then we'll pick what we want to do for the last phase. That was close. Brand seems okay. Still haven't pressed a single flask, so that's alright. Swift Brand was a bit nicer. In the last phase it might not be though, because Swift Brand forces me to reapply very frequently. Whereas without Swift Brand I could run around circles better, which is better for the last phase. Either way, it doesn't feel too bad. That was a furious cosmos. Can't relate. Saving my last round of flasks. Dude. That was super bad. I'm getting no fucking opportunity to attack him right now. Realistically, I would benefit from getting flasks back right now. We have to just take it. 12 challenges complete. Footprints all mine. I don't know, that was okay for a 5 link, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't balls deep crazy, but it was okay. We used a Wave of Conviction bug, it would have been instant. If Wave of Conviction gets fixed, I think it'll still be better than that. Because we'll just like apply a couple and then run around, and I think it'll be better DPS than this overall. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. But overall, not bad. Not bad at all for a 5er.